The first sound that shattered the quiet of the playground was not laughter or shouting, but silence so heavy it felt louder than anything else. A silence that had lived inside a little girl for years, following her like a shadow, defining her world before she ever understood why she could not speak. That afternoon, under a soft sky and swaying trees, fate placed 3 lives on a single playground path, and none of them would ever be the same again. Before the story unfolds any further, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the idea that small moments can change entire lives, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel to support stories that remind us of our humanity. The little girl sat on the swing with her tiny hands gripping the chains, her feet barely brushing the air. Her eyes were bright, curious, and full of thoughts that had no voice. She was the daughter of one of the most powerful CEOs in the city, raised in a world of glass towers, luxury cars, and endless meetings. Yet none of that wealth had been able to buy her a single spoken word. From the day doctors confirmed she was mute, her mother's heart had carried a quiet ache, a guilt she could never explain, a fear that her daughter would always be alone even in crowded rooms. The playground was one of the few places where the mother allowed herself to breathe. Here, her daughter was not a diagnosis or a problem to be solved, but just another child watching birds, feeling the wind, smiling at strangers without fear. Still, every smile came with a sharp reminder of what was missing. The mother watched from a short distance, dressed neatly even on her day off, her hands often clasped together as if holding herself upright. On the other side of the playground was a single father, worn down by life in ways money could never fix. His clothes were simple, his shoes slightly scuffed, his posture shaped by years of carrying responsibility alone. He had lost his wife too early, learned to cook with one hand while helping with homework using the other, and mastered the art of smiling even when his heart was tired. Bringing his child to the playground was his way of giving normalcy, even when life felt anything but normal. He noticed the little girl on the swing not because she was silent, but because of the way she observed everything. She watched people deeply, as if storing moments carefully inside herself. To him, she did not look broken or incomplete. She looked thoughtful, present, and alive. Something in her reminded him of his own child during the hardest days, when grief had stolen words and emotions had stayed locked inside. Time passed gently, marked by the creak of swings and distant laughter. The mother glanced at her phone, responding to emails she had promised herself she would ignore, then looked up again, always checking, always guarding. The father moved closer, crouching slightly so he would not seem threatening, his body language open, relaxed, patient. He did not know her story. He did not know she had seen the best specialists or that therapists had gently prepared her mother for a future without speech. All he knew was that children understood sincerity better than perfection. The little girl felt no pressure from him. There was no expectation in his eyes, no sadness, no pity. Only warmth. Something shifted inside her, subtle and unfamiliar. Her fingers loosened on the swing chains, her shoulders relaxed. For the first time that day, she was not just watching the world. She felt invited into it. Her mother sensed movement before she saw it. She straightened instinctively, her heart racing for reasons she could not name. Years of disappointment had trained her not to hope too much, not to expect miracles from ordinary moments. Still, something in the air felt different, heavier, charged with possibility. The father smiled gently, not performing, not trying to teach, simply being present. He had learned long ago that children often spoke when adults stopped trying so hard to make them speak. Silence had taught him patience. Loss had taught him empathy. The moment came quietly, without warning or drama. A breath, a pause, a tiny shift of courage. The sound that emerged was soft, almost fragile, but it carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken thoughts. A simple greeting, shaped by effort, born from trust. Not perfect, not loud, but real. The playground seemed to hold its breath. The mother's world narrowed to that single instant. Her knees weakened, her hand flew to her mouth, tears flooding her eyes before she even understood why. She had imagined this moment in hospitals, therapy rooms, and late-night prayers, but never here, never like this, never because of a stranger who had nothing to gain. The little girl's face lit up, surprised by her own voice, delighted by the reaction it created. She had crossed a bridge she did not know existed. The father felt his chest tighten, emotion rising unexpectedly. He did not celebrate loudly. He did not react dramatically. He simply smiled, as if acknowledging something beautiful and rare without disturbing it. For the mother, everything changed in that second. Power, status, and success felt small compared to the miracle unfolding in front of her. She realized how isolated her daughter's world had been, how carefully protected yet unintentionally limited. And she saw, perhaps for the first time, that healing did not always come from experts or strategies, but from human connection, patience, and kindness without expectation. Life did not transform instantly after that day. The little girl did not suddenly speak in full sentences, and challenges did not disappear. But a door had opened. A belief had been planted. Therapy felt different now, filled with hope rather than obligation. The mother learned to slow down, to choose presence over productivity. The father returned home with a quiet story he would never forget, reminded that his struggles had given him a gift he never recognized, the ability to reach hearts without words. Just before we reach the end, take a moment to comment below and share what this story made you feel. Your words might reach someone who needs them more than you know. Years later, the playground would fade into memory, but the impact of that afternoon would remain. A child found her voice not through pressure, but through kindness. A mother learned that vulnerability was not weakness. A father discovered that even the most ordinary days could hold extraordinary purpose. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that small acts can change lives, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep stories of hope alive, and your engagement tells us that kindness still matters in a world that often forgets it.